Good day, my wonderful viewers. We have this before us to solve. Divide 6x squared minus 13x plus 5 by 2x minus 1. So what we have here is a polynomial. So to divide this, we need to apply long division method. Now, before we go dive into that, I would like to explain some basic terminology so that when I make mention of some of these terms, you get yourself familiarized with them. So let's say, for instance, you have a number like this. This is 10, okay, divided by 2. If you divide 10 by 2, normally you are going to have 5, okay? So from this, what you have here now, this 10 is standing in as what? As the dividend, okay? So anything that we are dividing or that we are meant to divide, okay, we know that as what? Dividend, okay? Now, why these two here, these two that we are using to divide this 10 is known as what? The divide sum, okay? Why the products of the final answer as what you got here, which is 10 divided by 2, which gives us 5. This 5 is known as what? The quotient, okay? Quotient is that which is evenly distributed, okay? By the time we divide this 10 amongst two persons, okay? If you divide it among two persons, each of them will get 5 each, okay? Meaning that it's evenly distributed. So this 5 is standing as the quotient, this 2 is the divisor, and this what? 10 is the what? Dividend. Then if peradventure it happens to be a number like 11 divided by 2, okay, in that case we're going to have 5 with a remainder of what? 1, okay? Same thing apply. This 11 is our dividend, this 2 is our divisor, while this 5 is our what? Quotient, because that is the number that's evenly what? Shared, okay? Now what we are left with here is 1, and this 1 is termed the what? Remainder, okay? So we'll term this as the what? Remainder. So back to what you have here now. We want to divide this, okay? How do we divide this? Just like I explained earlier, solution, we're going to use what we refer to as long division method, which is 6x squared minus 13x plus 5. Then this number inside now, we'll call it the what? The dividend, because that's what we want to divide, okay? What you're using to divide this is what? The divisor, which is 2x minus what? 1. Now, how do we go about dividing this? You notice that this is a quadratic, right? Okay. Now, why this is a what? A linear, okay? Now, when you take a look at this, you are going to take this first term here, which is 2x, use it to divide this first term here, okay, which is 6x squared, okay? So when you divide it, at the end of the division, you go ahead to multiply with this and this other remaining term. So we don't just divide with this and this at the same time, we divide with the 2x, okay? So let's do that now. If you divide 6x squared, this is 6x squared divided by what? 2x, okay? 2 is a common factor, 2 here 1, 2 in 6 is 3, okay? This x squared means x times x, so divided by x, we are left with what? 1x. So up here, we're going to have what? 3x. So this 3x now is the quotient of what you got by dividing 6x squared by what? 2x, okay? Now, once you are done with that, the next step now is for us to multiply this, okay? I want to use this 2x now to multiply with this 3x, which is the quotient, and write the answer down here. Afterwards, multiply with this minus 1 with this 3x, okay? So now let's take the first one. 2x times 3x will give us what? 6x squared, okay? This is 2x times 3x. 2 times 3 is what? 6, okay? X times x is what? X squared. So that's how we got this, okay? Now the next one, now we'll take this minus 1. Minus 1 times 3x. That will give us what? Minus 3 what? X, okay? So once we are done now, the next step is for us to subtract. We're going to subtract this product, okay? What we got from the multiplication of this divisor with the word quotient, okay? So if you divide, if you subtract this from this, let's subtract. We now have 6x squared minus 6x squared. That will give us 0, okay? Now here we have 13x. It's having a minus 13x minus 3x. So I'm going to write this way. We have minus 13x minus, this is the minus sign outside, then minus what? Minus 3 what? X, okay? So this will give us minus 13x. Minus and minus is plus. So we have plus 3x. Okay. Now if you have minus 13x plus 3x, okay, obviously adding this to this will give us minus what? 10x, okay? So what we have here left is what? Minus 10x, okay? Now we notice that we have plus 5 remaining. So I'm going to bring that plus 5 down here, okay? Then we have to repeat the same process of what we did to get this 3x initially again on this part. So I want to divide this minus 10x with this 2x, okay? So you have minus 10x divided by 2x, okay? X will cancel out x. 2 in itself is 1. 2 in minus 10 will give us minus 5. So we have minus 5 here. Okay. Now we'll go ahead to multiply again. Okay. 2x times minus 5. 2x times minus 5. 2 times minus 5 is minus 10 times x. That will give us minus 10x. So we are going to have minus 10x here, right? Okay, now we'll go ahead to multiply with minus 1. Minus 1 times minus 5. So this is minus 1 times minus 5. Minus times minus gives us plus. 1 times 5 is what? 5. So we are going to have plus 5 here. Okay, so what do we do now? We have to subtract just like we did earlier. So we're going to subtract. Let's put a bracket here. Okay, so this is minus 10x minus 10x. So I'm going to have minus 10x minus 10 what? X, okay? So let's open the bracket. This will give us minus 10x. Minus times minus is plus. Then we have 10x. So minus 10x plus 10x cancels out. That gives us what? 0. So here we have 0 here. Now here we are left with plus 5 minus plus 5. So plus 5 minus plus 5. This is plus 5. Minus times plus is minus. So minus 5 plus 5 is what? 0. So there is no remainder from what we just did now. So this shows that this 2x minus 1 is actually a factor of this. That means it's able to divide this equally, evenly without any remainder. So therefore, 6x squared minus 13x plus 5, okay, divided by what? Divided by 2x minus 1 equals what? 3x minus what? 5. That is our final answer. If you want to text to see if what we solved is actually correct, by the time you multiply the final result, which is this 3x minus 5, with the divisor, which is 2x minus 1, you end up getting this, okay? If you expand this, having 2x minus 1 with 3x minus 5, you end up getting this. So let's check so that you see if we are actually on the right track. So 2x times 3x, that will give us 6. X times x is x what? Squared. Then 2x again multiplies minus 5, that gives us minus 10 what? X, right? Then minus 1 times 3x gives us minus 3 what? X. Then minus 1 times minus 5 gives us plus 5. Okay, so we have 6x squared. Collect like term. Now this is minus 10x minus 3x. That gives us total number of minus we have here is 13 minus, right? So that is minus 13 what? Sorry, let me write this here. 6x squared minus 13x plus what? 5. As you can see, that is exactly what you have here initially. So by the time you multiply the divisor with the final answer you got, which is your quotient, together you should be able to get back your what? Your dividend. So this is our final answer. We thank you so much for listening and for watching this, and we would love to see you in our next video. So if you are joining us for the first time, do well to follow up, send me a friend request, so that when next I make a post, you get to see notification regarding that. Okay, thank you so much. Hope to see you next time.